everyone. Happy Sunday. Thanks for joining us here on KXAN Live. I'm Esmeralda Zamora, and today we have our first warning weather Q&A with meteorologist Rich Segal. How are you doing, Rich?
I'm energized because there's rain in the forecast. It's raining right now in some of the area, and we've got more rain tomorrow and tomorrow night, and then a nice taste of autumn Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah, we have some gloomy skies. It feels a lot like autumn, like you just mentioned. So I'm happy. I hope this stays in the forecast, right?
Yes.
So let's go ahead and jump into our first question. You
All
prepared for us a question, and that is, how do you determine rain probability?
Okay. There is a tremendous first warning weather university on this subject that our former chief meteorologist, David Yeomans, made, so that would be worth a look at. But here's the thing. Number one, you must know that I am not that great of a believer in rain probability, because the further out in time you go, the less confidence there is in that chance of rain. First, though, for the immediate, like we have for today, you have to have confidence that it is going to rain, and then you have to ask yourself, okay, based on the present map models and numerical data, where it will rain. And we knew yesterday that this morning's rains would probably fall in the hill country, and that's where they have been not only yesterday but also last night and into this morning as well. So I look at about 4 or 5 different map models and 2 or 3 different numerical map models to see where the highest probability of rain will be. So there's the fourth line again, low confidence. That the further out in time you go, the confidence in that forecast is less and less and less, because I don't think long-range forecasting has solved the issue of being more accurate. I've felt that way since day one in 1976 when I did my first show. The other thing about rain probability is that it's rather misleading. You tell someone that there is a 70% chance of showers and thunderstorms, and they think that there's going to be a lot of rain falling because the percentage is high, but that's simply not the case. That rain probability is mentioning the fact that there will be at least 1/100th of an inch in 70% of the viewing area. So, I mean, you could have a 70% chance of rain, but you may only get a few hundredths of an inch. Nevertheless, the forecast does hold. And then I had a friend tell me one time, and I'm kind of inclined to agree, perhaps, that there are only 2 probabilities of rain, 0% when it's not raining and 100% when it is. So again, you have to have confidence that it'll rain, where the rain will fall, and then you can determine your probability based on that. Now, we've had several changes in the rain probability for today, starting last Monday and going all the way up until this morning's numerical data showing me about a 20% chance of rain, and it will end by the afternoon, and then we'll be dry with more sunshine and a record-setting high today. And Buddha that, by the way.
How are you confident that there is rain chances? What determines that?
Well, we're looking at the upper-level wind flow to see if moisture is coming in from the Pacific, and we know that today the map model is showing me that there is an upper flow coming out of the southwest, and so that is transporting moisture from the Pacific across Mexico and here. And then we also know that we have a south and southeast wind at the surface down here where we are, and that is carrying moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. There isn't really a trigger that is setting us up for the rain that we're having this morning, but the higher probability tomorrow comes from the upper energy that is going to come through the Pacific Northwest this morning and on down towards the southern Rockies in New Mexico and even into the Texas Panhandle by tomorrow afternoon.
And I understand we had a cold front around this time. Does that do anything with the rain chances? Like, are they related?
The cold front that's coming on Monday night definitely plays a role in the potential for showers and thunderstorms that we have. You have the mixing of 2 air masses, one with a dry northwest wind behind it, one with that moist Gulf flow ahead of it, and when those 2 collide, oftentimes you will get showers and thunderstorms. At various times of the season, the potential will be there for some of these storms to go severe. Okay. And that's what we have late tomorrow evening into late tomorrow night, especially from I-35 eastward, and we'll cover that in our weather show at 10 o'clock.
And now let's move on to that second question that you prepared. Is there a problem with your web forecasts?
That's a good question. I didn't notice this until we got the viewer email. There is a little bit of a problem that is needing some investigation. We're talking about that page on the Weather and Traffic tab at KXAN.com. On the second entry on the left side, there is an entry marked Today's Forecast, where you can not only see my weather video from this morning, from one of the shows we did at 6:30, but also you'll see a little bit of a loop that will have other folks that did forecasts, like Tommy House last night and my forecast from yesterday. Well, something is amiss in that, and you're only able to see, we've actually taken down part of it because we were not seeing the loop as efficient as it has been in the past. So there you see today's forecast. You've got the arrow pointed right there. That means that you're seeing the narrative that I wrote this morning along with the weather show that I did it. Again, it's about 6:45. That's the only one that's going to show today. Tomorrow we'll investigate it a little bit further and hope to have it resolved by tomorrow afternoon, if not sooner.
Not sooner, hopefully sooner, right?
Yes.
So our third question has to do with hurricanes. Can there be hurricanes in November? We're finally in November, so a lot of us really want to know if this is possible.
Very rare, but there have been hurricanes in November, and the statistics that we are showing, we'll start at the very bottom. There have been, since the late 1800s, when data started to be kept, 125 tropical storms or hurricanes since the late 1800s. There have been 4 hurricanes in the last 170 years of data. The latest one was not too long ago, a little more than 2 years ago. Hurricane Nicole hit in Florida at Vero Beach on November 10th, 2022. It was a Category 1, so they can happen, but it's quite rare that they do.
And we are in November, like I just mentioned, so when is the official end of hurricane season?
November 30th, both for the Atlantic, the Caribbean, the Gulf, and the Eastern Pacific.
So it's possible, but it's very rare.
I don't think we're going to find too much activity in the Gulf this November right now, or not the Gulf. Right now we have a system in the Caribbean that is going to move to the north and may wind up in the Gulf. It's got a good chance of becoming a tropical depression or even a tropical storm even this late in the season, but it is possible because the water temperatures in the Gulf and the Caribbean are still running in the mid-80s, and so that's bathwater.
That's bathwater,
so to speak.
Well, although we may not see those hurricanes hit landfall anywhere near us, is it still possible that they are happening out in the water?
No, right now we have that system in the Caribbean. It's just low pressure now. There was a named storm yesterday, subtropical storm Patty. A little bit of a wind issue there, but it's no. I think our chances of getting any more tropical development here are rather limited. Now, this system in the Caribbean may drift far enough in the Gulf to give us some rain, but that would be about the some extent of it. I don't think it's going to develop in anything beyond what it is right now, just maybe a depression by Tuesday or Wednesday.
And what are the rain chances looking like throughout November?
November was forecast to be drier than normal. It is still being forecast as drier than normal, given the fact that
we're starting with some rain.
Well, we started with a little bit of rain. Now, we had 0.06 of an inch of rain during the 5 to 6 o'clock hour last night. Very exciting to be watching a football game and hearing, my gosh, what is that noise? Oh, it's rain. And so I went and shot a video for Tommy House. We have a good chance of rain tomorrow, and especially tomorrow night as that front comes. The potential will be there for maybe some 1/4 to 1/2 inch rain totals, maybe even higher than that. But this looks like a quick hitting frontal boundary that's going to have no trouble gliding across the area. And so I'm not confident on some of these higher rain totals that I'm seeing on the models today, but I am confident that it will rain tomorrow and it will rain tomorrow night. And then we'll have some more rain scattered in the area by the end of the week.
Yes, and hopefully everyone that's watching is in those viewing areas, in those areas where those rain chances are going to be, because I know
I'd love if everybody got some rain. Yeah, I'd love it if I would like to come in on Tuesday morning and show a map that shows that every one of our reporting stations, our major reporting stations, measured some amount of rain. And I'd really like it if we could see some 1/2 to 1 inch rain totals and maybe higher than that.
Yes, I would too. I know everyone's waiting for that all year long. Now, before we wrap up these questions, I want to show your blog post and tell me a little bit about what is in this blog post right now.
Well, today we talked about greenhouse gases. Last week we talked about how clean energy is really helping areas that are supporting clean energy projects, and it looked like all the states were doing it. And then our friends at Climate Central gave us some information about what the emissions, the greenhouse gas emissions have been doing, and the statistics show that, of course, there's been a tremendous increase in them over the past several years, but more here in the last 20 to 25 years. And we see that with the hotter than normal temperatures like we had in October. We had a mean temperature of 78.2 in October. That doesn't seem like much, but the normal for October, the average of all the highs and the lows, is 72 or a little less than 72 degrees. And part of the issue with these temperatures being warmer than normal and the second driest October on record has to do in part to the fact that we still are belching greenhouse emissions into the atmosphere.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to read up on greenhouse emissions or anything that is in this blog, it's on our website, KXAN.com. It'll live there, and this video, this live stream will also be living in there for the meantime. Well, thank you so much, Rich, for joining me. Oops, sorry about that.
Could I just say one more thing, by the way? This
Yes.
has nothing to do with that. I love our viewers. We got so many costume pictures from Halloween night. They were just so precious, and we just loved getting them. So thank you for those pictures that you all sent to us.
Yes, they're so cute and funny. I know we saw a baby Nick Bannon.
We did.
That was
the
cute.
best. I think that was one of the best pictures we saw.
That was amazing. Well, we also encourage everyone to send in questions for Rich's Q&A every Sunday. It happens around 9:30 a.m. And we'd love to have any of your questions, and Rich will answer them right here live on KXAN Live.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, Rich. And that's all we have today on First Warning Weather Q&A with meteorologist Rich Segal. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll be back on Monday.